Have you ever felt a heavy weight in your heart because of something you did or didn't do? Regret can be a powerful force, keeping us up at night, making us wish we could turn back time. But what if there was a way to live without that burden? Today, we're going to explore a simple yet profound Buddhist practice that can help us live a life free of regrets, a life where we can feel at peace with our choices. This practice is called CA, pronounced S-La, which in English means ethical conduct or virtue. But CA isn't just about following rules. It's about creating a life that leads to true happiness and freedom from suffering. The foundation of ethical living. To truly appreciate the significance of CA in Buddhism, it's essential to grasp its foundational role within the broader framework of Buddhist practice. CA, pronounced Sila, translates to ethical conduct or virtue. This practice is one of the three core pillars of Buddhism, alongside samadhi, concentration, and panya, wisdom. Together, these practices form a comprehensive path toward achieving the ultimate goal of Buddhism, the liberation of the mind from suffering, also known as nirvana. What is CA? CA, or ethical conduct, is about living a life that is grounded in principles of morality and integrity. It serves as the bedrock upon which the other two practices, samadhi and panya, are built. Imagine CA as the roots of a tree. Just as the roots provide stability and nourishment for the tree, CA provides a stable foundation for the development of concentration and wisdom. Without strong ethical conduct, our ability to concentrate our minds and cultivate wisdom would be compromised. Why ethical conduct matters. The practice of CA involves training ourselves to act and speak in ways that promote the well-being of ourselves and others. It's not just about following a set of rules. It's about developing a deep understanding of how our actions affect the world around us. Ethical conduct is about making choices that reflect kindness, respect, and honesty. When we commit to CA, we are essentially committing to live a life of integrity, where our actions align with our values. By practicing CA, we are setting a standard for ourselves that encourages us to be mindful of our actions and their consequences. This mindfulness helps us avoid causing harm to ourselves and others, fostering a sense of inner peace and harmony. The Buddha taught that our actions have far-reaching consequences. When we act in ways that are harmful or deceitful, we create negative karma that can lead to suffering and regret. Conversely, when we act with integrity and compassion, we generate positive karma that contributes to our overall well-being and happiness. The interconnectedness of body, speech, and mind. One of the key aspects of CA is its emphasis on the interconnectedness of body, speech, and mind. The Buddha taught that these three aspects of our being are deeply intertwined. When we practice ethical conduct, we are not only training our actions and words, but also shaping our thoughts and intentions. For example, when we choose to speak truthfully, we are fostering a mindset of honesty and transparency. Similarly, when we act with kindness, we are cultivating a compassionate and loving mindset. This interconnectedness means that by practicing CA, we are nurturing our entire being, our body, our speech, and our mind. When we discipline our actions and words, our mind naturally follows, and vice versa. This holistic approach ensures that our practice of ethical conduct leads to a balanced and harmonious life. Nyoza ici as a path to liberation. The ultimate goal of practicing CA is to achieve a state of mind that is free from regret and remorse. The Buddha taught that living a life of virtue helps us avoid the negative consequences of harmful actions, leading to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. By following the principles of CA, we are creating a life that is aligned with our highest values, allowing us to experience true contentment and inner peace. In essence, CA provides a framework for making choices that lead to a life free from regret. It encourages us to act with integrity, respect, and kindness, helping us build positive relationships and create a harmonious environment. As we practice CA, we become more mindful of our actions and their impact on ourselves and others, leading to a life that is both ethically sound and spiritually fulfilling. So as we continue our exploration of CA, remember that this practice is not just about following rules, but about creating a life that reflects our deepest values and aspirations. By committing to ethical conduct, we are laying the foundation for a life of peace, happiness, and liberation from regret. A guide to living without regret. The Buddha gave us a clear and simple guide to help us practice CA in our daily lives. This guide comes in the form of the 5 precepts. These precepts are not rigid rules. They are like a compass, pointing us in the direction of a life that is free from the suffering caused by regret. By following these precepts, we can avoid actions that lead to guilt, shame, and the heavy weight of regret. The first precept is to avoid killing any living being. This goes beyond avoiding the taking of human life and encourages us to respect all forms of life. The act of taking life leaves a mark on our conscience, creating feelings of guilt and remorse. By choosing not to kill, we are choosing to live in harmony with all life, creating a sense of peace and respect that permeates our entire being. The second precept is to avoid stealing. This includes not only taking someone else's property, but also taking credit for someone else's work or using someone's ideas without proper acknowledgement. Stealing creates a sense of dishonesty and distrust, making it difficult to form genuine, trusting relationships. The regret that comes from stealing can eat away at our peace of mind. The third precept is to avoid sexual misconduct. This precept is about respecting the boundaries of others and ourselves, particularly in our relationships. Sexual misconduct can lead to pain and suffering, affecting our relationships, reputation, and sense of self-worth. The regret that comes from sexual misconduct can be particularly painful, as it often involves betraying the trust of someone we care about. The fourth precept is to avoid lying. Lying damages our relationships and creates a false reality built on deception. The regret that comes from lying can be particularly hard to bear, as it often involves betraying the trust of those we care about. The Buddha taught that truthfulness is essential for a peaceful life, as it builds trust and creates a sense of security in our relationships. The fifth and final precept is to avoid intoxicants like drugs and alcohol. These substances cloud our judgment and can lead us to make choices that we later regret. By choosing to avoid intoxicants, we stay in control of our actions and minds, making it easier to live a life aligned with our values. The story of Ananda and Buddha. To truly understand why ethical conduct, or CA, is so important in Buddhism, let's delve into a profound story from the life of the Buddha and his close disciple, Ananda. This story not only highlights the significance of ethical conduct, but also illustrates the practical benefits of living a life aligned with virtue and integrity. The Inquiry of Ananda. One day, Ananda, who was known for his deep devotion and proximity to the Buddha, approached him with a question that had been on his mind. Ananda asked the Buddha, "Why is it so crucial for us to practice ethical conduct? What is the purpose behind these guidelines you've taught us?" Ananda's question reflects a common concern among practitioners. While the concept of ethical conduct may seem straightforward, understanding its deeper significance can be challenging. Ananda was seeking clarity on why these precepts, refraining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and intoxicants, were so essential to spiritual practice. The Buddha's response. In his response, the Buddha provided Ananda with a profound insight into the nature of regret and the role of ethical conduct in overcoming it. He explained that practicing ethical conduct is not just about adhering to a set of rules. It is about creating a life where regret and remorse are minimized. The Buddha emphasized that ethical conduct helps us avoid actions that lead to guilt and sorrow, which are major obstacles to achieving inner peace and happiness. The Buddha shared that when we live a life of virtue, we naturally avoid the negative consequences that come from harmful actions. For example, if we refrain from killing, we avoid the regret associated with taking a life. If we avoid stealing, we sidestep the guilt that comes from dishonesty. Each precept is designed to guide us away from actions that would otherwise lead to suffering and regret. The nature of regret. To further illustrate his point, the Buddha explained the nature of regret. Regret arises when we act in ways that are contrary to our values and principles. When we harm others or ourselves, we create negative karma that can linger in our minds, causing feelings of remorse and dissatisfaction. This remorse can be a significant barrier to finding true happiness and peace. By practicing ethical conduct, we are essentially setting ourselves up for a life where such regrets are minimized. The Buddha taught that when we live in accordance with these precepts, we create positive karma that contributes to our overall well-being. This positive karma not only leads to a more harmonious and fulfilling life, but also helps us cultivate a mind that is free from the burdens of regret, living a life of integrity. The Buddha's teachings on ethical conduct emphasize the importance of living with integrity and authenticity. When we adhere to these precepts, we are living in a way that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. This alignment creates a sense of inner harmony and peace, making it easier to navigate life's challenges without being weighed down by guilt or remorse. For example, by practicing honesty and refraining from lying, we build trust in our relationships and create a sense of security in our interactions. By avoiding sexual misconduct, we respect the boundaries of others and foster healthy, meaningful connections. By abstaining from intoxicants, we maintain clarity of mind and avoid the pitfalls of impaired judgment. The ripple effect of virtue. The practice of ethical conduct has a ripple effect that extends beyond our own lives. When we live virtuously, we influence those around us, creating a positive environment that fosters harmony and understanding. Our actions serve as an example to others, demonstrating the benefits of living a life of integrity and compassion. In this way, the practice of CA not only enhances our own well-being, but also contributes to the greater good. By embodying the principles of ethical conduct, we help to create a world where kindness, honesty, and respect are valued and upheld. This in turn leads to a more peaceful and harmonious society. A life free from regret. Ultimately, the Buddha's teachings on ethical conduct are about helping us live a life free from regret. By following these precepts, we avoid actions that lead to guilt and remorse, allowing us to experience a greater sense of peace and contentment. The practice of CA is a path to a life where our actions are aligned with our values, leading to a profound sense of fulfillment and happiness. As we reflect on the story of Ananda and the Buddha, let us remember that the practice of ethical conduct is not just about following rules, but about creating a life of integrity and harmony. By committing to these precepts, we are choosing to live a life where we can look back with a clear conscience, free from the burdens of regret. This choice leads to a life that is not only spiritually enriching, but also deeply satisfying, allowing us to find true peace and happiness in our journey. Practical steps in daily life. Let's dive deeper into each of these precepts and explore how they can be applied in our daily lives. When you choose not to kill, you're making a commitment to respect all life. This respect isn't just about avoiding physical harm. It's about developing a mindset of kindness and compassion that extends to all beings. For example, you might choose to be more mindful of the impact your actions have on the environment, recognizing that every living thing is interconnected. By choosing not to kill, you're contributing to a world where all life is valued and respected, creating a ripple effect of kindness that touches everyone you encounter. When you choose not to steal, you're choosing to live a life of integrity. This means being honest not only in your actions, but also in your intentions. For example, you might choose to be more transparent in your business dealings, ensuring that you're not taking advantage of others for personal gain. By choosing not to steal, you're building trust with those around you, creating relationships that are based on mutual respect and honesty. This trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues. When you choose to avoid sexual misconduct, you're respecting the boundaries of others and yourself. This means being mindful of the impact your actions have on others, particularly in your relationships. For example, you might choose to be more considerate of your partner's feelings and needs, ensuring that your actions are guided by love and respect rather than selfish desires. By choosing to avoid sexual misconduct, you're creating relationships that are built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding, leading to deeper and more meaningful connections. When you choose not to lie, you're committing to truthfulness in all aspects of your life. This means being honest, not only in your words, but also in your actions and intentions. For example, you might choose to be more open and transparent in your communications, ensuring that you're not hiding anything or misleading others. By choosing to be truthful, you're creating a life that is free from the fear of being found out, allowing you to live with a clear conscience and a sense of inner peace. When you choose to avoid intoxicants, you're choosing to stay in control of your mind and actions. This means being mindful of the choices you make and the impact they have on your life. For example, you might choose to engage in activities. Conclusion. In the end, living without regret is about making choices that align with your values and bring peace to your heart and mind. By practicing CA and following these 5 precepts, you're not just avoiding bad karma. You're creating a life filled with joy, trust, and contentment. It's not always easy, especially in a world where it's easy to justify small wrongs or take shortcuts. But the peace of mind that comes from living a virtuous life is worth the effort. So as you go about your day, remember these teachings. Try to live with kindness, honesty, and clarity. Each time you choose to follow these precepts, you take a step closer to living without regret, creating a life that is filled with peace, joy, and contentment. And when you do, you'll find that the burden of regret begins to lift, leaving you with a heart that is light and a mind that is at peace.